The entire team at Emsolation want to acknowledge that we are gathered on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri people. We want to recognise that we are recording and telling our stories on the stolen land of our country's first storytellers. We wish to pay our respects to all Wurundjeri elders and ancestors, and to extend that respect to any First Nations peoples who listen to Emsolation. We recognise Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples' continued connection to the land and waters of this country, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. Always was, always will be.
This is Emsolation.
Well, hello there and welcome to Emsolation. My name is Em Russiano. I'm a writer, a singer, a stand-up comedian, a maximalist power queen, a neurodivergent magic brain and a podcaster. And together with my best friend since I was 11, award-winning screenwriter Mr. Michael Lucas, I bring you this podcast every week. We have so much to discuss. It is a bonkers time in the world, and I feel like I'm saying that every third week. We're back in unprecedented times.
Well, I feel like if we could flash back to when this podcast was started, grappling in 2020 with the most surreal times we're in, if you had shown us a clip of us discussing Donald Trump's second term with the trade war he started with China and speculating about Katy Perry being sent into space, we would think space. We would think that's a satire.
It would be like, did you
ridiculous
guys,
and a bad satire.
did the group chat have ketamine?
Yeah, what had happened?
Like, what happened?
Yeah.
That's what I would be feeling like. Everything's a little bit, what? But that was the whole point. You and I didn't really absorb the space mission, the Blue Origin. We didn't absorb it until the day of, which is wild because 5 years ago, if Katy Perry was heading into space with Gayle King, Oprah's best mate, you and I would have been, we would have had merch. We would have been across this. But truly did not cross my metaphorical desk until you texted me and said, bitch, Katy Perry's going to space tonight. And I'm like, what now?
I was aware of it, but I just had no bandwidth. No bandwidth.
Which is wild that we're even saying that sentence. I had no bandwidth for Katy Perry and Gayle King being yeeted into outer space by Jeff Bezos.
We were sitting there grappling with...
in a dick-shaped rocket. What?
Is it possible for us to enter the United States or is it wise? Was a question on our mind. And then in the midst of that, how do we feel about Katy Perry being blasted into space? And is the framing of it as a feminist statement something that we should endorse?
Oh,
Anyway.
Girl. So we're going to be obviously launching into, pun intended, Katy Perry's space flight. We're also going to be discussing Peter Dutton rolling his son out saying, I can't afford a house. Exactly. That's exactly how he sounded. And we're also going to be dissecting Gaga's performance for the ages, I'm calling it. Like, I mean, she's now canonized. It's done. It's done.
The coronation has occurred.
At Coachella, we've got second weekend coming up. We are at some point going to be jumping on trying to buy our tickets for show 2.
We've had one failed attempt.
Yeah. So if the show abruptly ends and then we come back, don't worry. By the magic of editing, there'll be like, we were never
That's right.
away. But there could be a disruption because we are going to be pouncing online in about 37 minutes and counting. You did mention briefly before we get into the space flight, my favourite corner of TikTok is the current petty war between the Chinese manufacturers of luxury goods and the Trump government.
Yeah.
It is giving me life. It's bringing me joy. Every night when I hop into bed to do my little pre-sleep doom scroll, I can't believe I don't know how to get to sleep. I can't believe I have issues going to sleep when I literally have
what a restful activity.
Right in my face, right here. But I look forward to it. And all I do now is I go straight to search Chinese manufacturers on TikTok. Not something I thought I'd be searching.
No.
And up come all these...
No king shaming here.
No king shaming. And then all of these incredible men and women are giving their version of essentially, fuck you, Donald Trump. Here, everybody, come buy the bags at a fraction of the cost.
Some say as long as there's a tag saying made in China, the bag can never be luxury. However, in fact, more than 80% of the luxury bags in the world are made in China. But those luxury brands just won't acknowledge that. They take almost finished bags from China factories back to their own countries and just do the repackaging and logo installing, something like that. That way, the bags will appear at their boutiques as made in Italy or made in France. You know, those sophisticated European countries, which make you feel mysterious, royal, and thus luxury. Now, close your eyes. Let's just do a little, very easy experiment in your head, okay? Imagine that you have Hermes bag and suddenly the label on it changed from made in France into made in China, while everything else like leathers, zippers, and hardware remain the same. Do you suddenly feel that your bag is not as luxury as before? If you do, that means you have been misled and poisoned by the market campaign of those luxury brands for too long. Welcome to the real world. Now you see, those bags are made in China by our intelligent and diligent Chinese artisans. Let's not be poisoned and misled by the market campaign any longer and be a real person. Buy a bag from our factory in China, see the real world for yourself.
And I'm like, go off, bitch, pop off, live your
Totally.
truth, Chinese manufacturers.
Oh, I'm going to say they're contemporary Robin Hoods. It's
100%.
amazing.
Am I a little bit queasy around some of their labour laws? Yes.
Oh, of course, but
Will I be buying the goods? No, I'm still obsessed with the identity theft and scared to order anything from websites that I feel like, I'm scared to even jump onto Temu.
I love them because, America, Trump is out there trying to say that they've been cheated. No, richest country in the world. Is it fairly distributed? Absolutely not. Richest company in the world because they've made these huge corporate profits off these Chinese workers.
Yes.
And so for them to sort of take the power back and say, you want to know the reality of why you've made all that profit? Because we've been sitting here working 16-hour days.
And getting paid $4 an hour.
Absolutely nothing.
Right, it's wild. But they're out there doing it.
And also, do you know how much you would pay for these products if you took these factories back to the United States? Hilarious.
Correct.
Hilarious.
It's
80
gold.
times the cost.
And they're so sassy. I want you to know it. I want you to know they are delivering this. It is incredible. And I do find myself yelling, go off, sis. It's a beautiful thing. And everybody's jumping on board.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, not something I thought I'd be seeing, the downfall of the great European design houses. But Gucci, Chanel, everyone's quaking in their boots. Because you can buy a for realsies Chanel bag currently.
Have you been tempted to jump on?
I have. I'm also concerned about the value of the Chanel bag I do own because that is
don't
currently...
want that to go down.
Well, that is my retirement plan.
You should try and go and organise a meeting with Trump. Say, look, I know the head of Apple's been in. I just want to talk to you about this Chanel bag.
Oh, don't worry. The head of Apple's gone in and now Apple are exempt
Oh,
from
but then
the
he flipped
tariffs.
again.
What?
Oh, yeah, no, he flipped back again.
Are
He
you
said,
joking?
no, well, no, I'm not sure about that. We'll just, he's a messy bitch at the moment. He's got no idea what he is doing.
That is what the Chinese manufacturers are basically saying.
Yeah.
Trump is a messy bitch.
Yeah.
Look, if you've got a spare 5 minutes on TikTok, go and look at the Chinese manufacturers living their best lives, and they're often little old Chinese women just delivering, just to the camera, like suck shit. Here we go. Look at all the bags I'm making. Buy it from me direct. I will do it. It's amazing.
I just want to say my mother-in-law has been out there in person scooping up some of these things.
saw these.
If you
I'm really
go to my
considering a trip to
mother-in-law's
China.
house, she will present a bag and then ask you to speculate
If it's
on it.
real.
Yeah, and she go, and 100% they are because
No,
apparently
these are all real.
No, yes,
They're taking the logos off.
Yes.
This is how they're getting away with it because
Yeah.
they can't sell them with the house.
That's right.
On it.
Yeah.
But they just don't apply the logos. It's the same bag.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And then you know what you can do? You can go and buy the logos again from China
Yeah.
and put them on yourself.
And if you go to regions near those factories in China, which my mother-in-law is one to do, you can absolutely find them on sale for,
I didn't know you could go into, and there are warehouses with shelves and shelves and shelves of designer bags. You have to wear gloves when you go in. I was watching a whole video. I was obsessed, like airport hangers with rows and rows and rows and rows of very expensive bags. You wear your white gloves and they're all at like 75 to 80% off. It's crazy. Like you would want to go there and just fill up a jet and bring it home and sell it yourself. Like, I don't know how this is going to work out or end. I genuinely think this is going to be the downfall of luxury fashion.
Yes. Yeah.
You can get Lululemon for $6 to $15 a legging. They are $89.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. It's real Lululemon, and I don't like the tags, and I don't like the symbols on my workout gear. So you're telling me I can buy Sans logo, but it's the exact same moisture wicking soft fabric?
The world is completely turning upside down. It's insane.
It's crazy. Speaking of, on April the 14th, Katy Perry, an all-female crew, Gayle King also was in that crew. Lawrence Sanchez, Amanda Nugent as well.
Yep.
And what was the other lady's name?
Oh,
She was a
I was only focused on Amanda.
This is a film producer that was there. I know that much.
There was, that's right. They flew into space bravely for 11 minutes.
For 11 minutes for feminism.
For feminism. Katy Perry didn't want to make it about her, so she sung What a Wonderful World.
Yeah.
Can you imagine being in that fucking spaceship?
Oh, God.
And listening to Katy
And
Perry
she starts singing.
Yeah. A Louis Armstrong song.
Ma'am.
Yeah. No,
I
stick to
feel-
your lane.
Yeah. You are not Beyonce.
Yeah.
You are not Aretha.
Yeah.
If
You are not
anyone-
Cynthia.
If anyone has earned the right to sing in space, I don't know if it's you.
No.
And if your argument is, I once wrote a song about an alien, that's thin, lady. That is
No,
a
that's
thin
right,
argument.
that's right.
But I was laughing.
She also once wrote a very famous song about things blowing up in the sky.
She did.
Thank God that wasn't a manifestation.
Thank God she wasn't a plastic bag floating through the wind.
That's right.
So can you imagine? Let's all be inside the spaceship, right? Whereas we're terrified. We saw.
Am I wearing a form-fitting
you're in a blue
slinky suit?
stunning, belted,
Like a sexy Star Trek character?
definitely
How much makeup do I have on?
full face.
Okay, cool.
Glam.
Have I
You've done-
tongued my hair?
Absolutely.
Yep.
3 hours of glam.
Yeah.
Set female astronauts back 50 years just with your mascara. So you're sitting there and you're probably scared. Like this is the thing.
Oh, I'd be
So you're all
shitting
there,
myself.
and then all of a sudden you hear, I see trees of green, and you're
Yeah.
like, what the fuck?
I would think.
No.
Is this?
Red roses too. One. And then you're like, looking at, is she? The fuck she's singing?
I would expect Gal Gadot to come in and harmonise, as per her.
I would have
imagined.
loved that as a reveal.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just imagine Louis Armstrong resurrecting.
Oh,
Please
yeah.
don't.
Please.
Please.
No.
I can't believe. But I also love that I didn't want to make it about me. So I sang something else that wasn't my song.
Yeah.
Okay, babe. So they bravely went where no all-female crew had gone
No,
before.
not for 60 years. There was one 60 years ago, and they were actual proper trained professional astronauts. These ones.
Sir, what
Yeah.
are you insinuating?
Oh.
How dare you?
Question
Are
any of
you?
that. There were some qualified people on it, of course.
And of course, their names are nowhere to be found.
No, of course not. I mean, I think the whiff of publicity stunt for Jeff Bezos is hard to get out of your nostrils with this one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. This was a man who, in the name of feminism, sent his partner, a pop star, a very famous person's best friend,
Yeah.
and 3 other women who we know were qualified, but their names escape us, into space in a dick-shaped ship, fully made up
I think one of the things that I've been
for
trying
feminism
it's the
and
feminism
Mother Earth.
The feminism framing kills me, but also the other thing that kills me is I think the dream of like
Babe,
at
the dick
initial
ship was meant to empower women. If you're going to say anything other than that,
this
I
is,
won't have that.
I'm saying something gender free, but it's
Okay.
also just accepting that, I used to love everything about the moon landing and going
space
into
used to mean something.
Yeah, but also it felt like this sort of common dream of humanity that we could all rally behind, and then if you trained hard enough, you could go to NASA or whatever, and you could become an astronaut. If blah 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 blah. And then now we've hit an age where it's just available to the highest bidder, and there's something that's so depressing about. So in our lifetimes, people will get to go into space if they're fucking rich. And I know a few people there. Have been deigned to be chosen to go because out of qualifications. But the fact that it has turned into a plaything for billionaires, is just a
funded
big-
space travel.
It does feel like the death of the dream.
Absolutely. Now they're just doing it for content creation and vibes.
Totally.
What?
And we've got a few problems with the planet that would be good to solve. And
Oh, look, there's a few things going on down here.
Probably.
I mean,
yeah.
I did find it interesting that Katy kept proclaiming it was for Mother Earth and really not thinking about the environmental implications of launching a whole ass rocket ship into the atmosphere.
yeah.
I feel like
I
there's a
would
bit of
love-
emissions happening there.
Yeah, I would love to see if she clicked the carbon offset little thing like
Did
you
she?
do on your Qantas tickets.
Did she do
How
that?
much that was? I
Did she
don't know.
pay for the carbon offset of launching that fucking dick into
She did
space?
take that. She did release her set list. Did you know that?
Really?
She had a butterfly card and she opened it up and revealed what her set list was. And do you know what? I checked it out. And do you know what I was disappointed at? Never Really Over was not on the set. And I thought that was a great song.
Hang on,
Unsung.
set list for what?
Her concert that's just about to start.
Shut
The Lifetimes tour.
You're fucking...
No, she did.
I missed that.
She did. And then she also held up a daisy.
I'm sorry. I want to get off.
No. And you know what they said?
I'm done.
Do you know what their chant was?
I cannot with this.
Take up space. They chanted that together, like feminism, but also isn't that like lean in? It's the same sort of thing, which is just the most thoroughly discredited sort of book that now everyone looks back on. Sheryl Sandberg, Facebook exec, her thing was lean in, as though that's the only problem. That's the only thing holding back women. They just need to learn how to lean in. And these women, these incredibly wealthy women going, take up space.
But you get it's clever.
Maybe
it's
give
clever.
a little space to
it's
some
double
other-
entendre.
Oh, no, I get it.
So clever.
It's just
I mean, it's got
absolutely
levels.
the layers. The layers.
The depth.
Much like their foundation.
The depth. About
The
as much
contours.
depth of the contouring. She is so tone deaf that even I cannot find the silver lining in the irony. Like oftentimes when someone is ironically tone deaf, I can get along with it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Oh, Barbara.
Exactly.
Often.
Zero
Yeah.
self-awareness
Madge as well
plus
can
diva
drift into that. Yeah.
can often bring me joy,
Yeah.
right? But this scenario, the holding of the tiny daisy, you know, babe, if you're for the environment, you've plucked that from its earth, it's going to die. You've prematurely murdered a plant, so yay nature. And then the way that she kept saying it was for her daughter. She's doing this for her daughter.
That's right.
What are you doing? What do you mean?
Thank God that child of her and Orlando Bloom will have a chance at a good life.
I agree. Because if it wasn't for the rocket, if it wasn't for her being an astronaut, a sastronaut, if you will, it might never have happened.
They were all
She would have had a
doing
terrible
it
life.
to inspire women to
Oh,
go
I
out
am
there and
so
achieve their dreams,
inspired.
as long as that dream is bag a billionaire or becomes friends with someone that bagged a billionaire.
1,000,000%. And I just feel like I don't understand how not one person said to her, Katy, the government in which he has aligned himself with, the guy who owns Amazon, they have taken away women's reproductive rights. They're attacking trans rights. It is actually currently the worst and most dangerous time to be a woman in the United States. Do we think that this is a great idea, and should we be flying this as the feminist flag?
And do you know what she says to that? It's a woman's world.
No,
and you're lucky
to be
living
living in
it.
it. What a wonderful world. And then she got off.
Can I just say, the heartbreak for her that song was a flop, because you know that that's the song that she wanted to sing with that all-female crew. She wanted to look at the earth and say, it's a woman's world.
Fucking
That's
oath.
what she wanted to do, and she couldn't do it because it was too much of a toxic flop.
She wrote that specifically when space got locked in the Google Calendar.
Yeah.
She saw it come in a Google Calendar and she's like, I've got
Needs
it.
to be about feminism and the earth. Woman's world.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. And then she gets off after the terrifying 11-minute ordeal.
Yeah.
And gets down on a little mat and kisses the earth.
Yeah. Yeah, thank God she made it through all of that 11 minutes.
And then gives some incoherent speech about how being in space for 11 minutes made her realize how she's truly loved.
I feel super connected to love. So connected to love. I think this experience has shown me you never know how much love is inside of you, like how much love you have to give, and how loved you are until the day you launch.
By what? So what? Do you get some sort of space sickness altitude situation? Could we put it down to that?
Oh, I think it would be good if we could, but
I'm
alas, I don't
unaware of
think so.
what it does to the brain. Does it perhaps do something?
The unbelievable thing to me is you have watched the television show, The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon.
Do you
know of which I'm speaking?
Of course. When you and I text each other and like, they're fucking jumped
the shark, because Reese Witherspoon's character, a television presenter, was launched into space, and we're like,
in a full face
with this
with a
show?
billionaire?
Turns out it was restrained. A couple of years off the money. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I know, amazing. All right.
There is a thing James just brought up. There's an overview effect. It's a cognitive shift that some astronauts, while viewing the Earth from space, go into a state of awe with
self-transcendent qualities
precipitated by a particular striking visual stimuli.
Okay. Okay.
So maybe.
Even just after 11 minutes, most astronauts are up there a bit
Maybe
longer.
Can it have affected you like even months in advance?
Yeah, could it
like
preemptively
when you've
affect
decided
you?
to work with Dr. Luke?
Yeah,
When
maybe.
you're working
It's
at
the
that
space
height.
vibes.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Now, what we did.
Can you also mention Jeff Bezos face planting as well?
I did love that. I love that.
Jeff Bezos fell over when
Yeah.
they landed, when the tip of the dick landed,
Yeah.
just the tip,
Yeah.
because you lose the
Yeah.
shaft in the balls.
Yeah.
He slipped over the tip of the dick.
Yeah.
And I was looking in its windows. Oh, my God, it was glorious.
It was so
he
good.
kind of looks like a dick.
Oh my God.
Doesn't he look like a penis?
Yeah, mixed with Dr. Evil. Yeah.
Quite phallic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
so it kind of feels right. But also there was the shade, we did pick up on light shade from Kesha.
Oh, yes.
So obviously Kesha, long
And
time
Katy,
beef with Katy.
yes.
Overworking with Dr. Luke, her accused abuser.
yes.
And Kesha posted a picture of her and I didn't understand it and you're
She
going to
was
explain it to
eating
me.
Wendy's. And the reason for that
Wendy's,
is...
the fast food.
Yeah, so
Yes.
Wendy's is one of those chains that has a very sassy gay on the socials.
Right.
And so when like Blue Origin was, tweeting out things like Katy Perry has finally returned from space, that Wendy's, the official account, was writing back going, can we send her back? And then they just hammered with like plenty of like really narky comments.
What?
I know. Wendy's was showing some sass, which to me didn't seem to suit the brand, but it got a lot of headlines. And then that's what Kesha was picking up.
Wendy's, Katy Perry tweets.
Yeah. Not necessarily tweets, but comments.
Wendy's unprovoked tweet about Katy Perry divides fans.
Yeah.
They just wrote, send her back.
Yeah. I know.
Someone's a Kesha stan.
And
So Kesha got
Yeah.
herself a Wendy's drink.
Subtle.
Oh, that is Taylor Swift.
It had the
Respect
mastery
it.
of, remember Florence Pugh holding the martini and wandering by the pool?
Yes.
It had that sort of vibe about it.
respect that so
Yeah.
much.
You do.
Yes,
You love,
I love a
a
petty.
attack.
I just
a petty
love
coded
petty.
attack.
Yes. So look, yes. I just want to let everyone know, as a woman,
Yeah.
I just feel like my rights have been advanced. Like I
think so.
feel like this probably dismantled the patriarchy. Like, do you hear that sound?
For me, it was
It's fallen
pre-
over.
Yeah.
It's gone. Patriarchy dismantled. Finished. It's over.
I think we'll
OVAH.
look back on it the same way we looked back on the suffragettes and women
100%.
getting the vote for the first time.
Same thing. Same. Absolutely. This is a moment in history. Women will never.
Katy Perry kissing that ground is the same as the suffragette casting herself under a carriage in London to get the vote.
Exactly. Like, show me the difference.
She's Malala.
pretty much too far. Too far. I mean, I appreciate you searching for the line,
Thank you.
but I think you may have straddled it, crossed
We've
it.
overpeaked.
Yeah, it's gone. Amazing.
You're going to go on to Peter Dutton now, aren't you?
I don't want to talk about Potato Dutton.
We are 3 weeks out now from the election.
2 even.
Is it? Oh, thank God.
I feel like it's close.
Yeah, it's the third.
So Peter Dutton's son, Harry Dutton,
Yeah.
said he'd been saving like mad.
Oh,
Saving
if
like
only he had access to
mad.
the source of money.
But just can't buy a house.
I am saving up for a house, and so is my sister Beck and a lot of my mates. But as you've probably heard, it's almost impossible to get in the current state. So, I mean, we're saving like mad, but it doesn't look like we'll get there in the near future. But we'd love that to change.
He's just out there working at Macca's,
Yeah.
putting his minimum wage in a little piggy bank,
Yeah.
desperately,
Yeah.
trying to lift himself up out of abject wealth
He's a battler.
to
He's
buy
a quiet
himself.
Australian.
And
I
they,
know where he could find one of 17 houses.
I mean, I don't know what you're suggesting. Who? Not like his dad or anything. How embarrassing. No, it is his dad. So the Peter Dutton, the coalition, were launching their policy of letting first home buyers claim their mortgage interest as a tax deduction, right? So this is just important to note. They've already bought the house. This has nothing to do with saving for the house, getting the bank loan, getting the deposit together. This policy is around people who already have the house,
Yeah.
but they can just claim the tax
That's
on
right.
it. Yeah. So so what his son was saying has absolutely nothing to do with the policy they were launching. Just let's be abundantly clear.
And we should just say the dust hadn't even settled yet on the other Liberal candidate who presented herself as a renter, and then it was discovered she had 2 investment properties, including one in London.
Hot mic.
And
The
also,
hot mic will get you, bitch. It
and
will.
also was the granddaughter of a Victorian premier from the past. So, I mean, they're really on a hot streak here.
So Harry's like saying, I've been saving like mad.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Dutton's behind him nodding. And then everybody's online kind of lost their mind. And Peter Dutton is worth over $3 million and has a property portfolio like a monopoly board. He's a baron. He is a property baron.
$30 million worth of property.
$30 million. So there you go. And also the kicker, Dutton has consistently voted against measures that would help with housing affordability.
What would have provoked him to do that?
I just can't even, I don't even know. I just don't even know. And so wheeling your kid out, number one, this poor kid, like, how much do you reckon Dutton sat him down and he said, right, we need to look like we are poor. So you got to get out there.
I would love to hear.
He's like, I need a young person.
Yeah.
Young people are complaining. Who do I know that's young? Harry. Get in here.
How was
Listen,
the
you
strategy explained to
cocksucker.
her? I mean, I can only assume he said, you do this for me, I'll give you a house.
Pretty much. You know what's in it? Harry's like, what's in it for me? A house.
Yeah.
Done. You know Peter Dutton calls his son a cocksucker, 100%. You little dickhead.
Oh.
Too far? Did I go too far? Was that
Well,
my Malala?
I was just intrigued.
Was that my
by
Malala
it.
moment?
Maybe.
Okay, I retract that. But he definitely calls him a name. I just feel like Dutton would be his savage father.
At this point, I'm not, as we know, you're the conspiracy theorist of the two of us.
Yeah.
Not me. But at this point of their campaign, we're halfway through the campaign now, I honestly think the only plausible explanation is that there is someone very close to him that is deliberately trying to fuck him up in this campaign, because
It does feel like sabotage.
it feels like someone's out there going, you know what's going to be a really popular policy? Nuclear power stations all over the country. Australians will
Mad for it.
love that.
Do it.
Oh, and you know what else is really going to get people going?
They don't want to work from home anymore.
Don't want to do
They
it.
do not want to work from
No.
home. Talk about sending everyone back to the office 9 to 5, squashed like sardines in trains, stuck in peak hour, not being able to wear tracksuit pants or look after their kids, flexibility with childcare. And you know what? That's really going to fuck women. And people do love that.
It will go off.
Yeah.
And then finally, who is the best
You know
possible
what? Yeah, it's like the next
person
thing
to
they're going
speak
to
to
be
the
like.
housing crisis? Your son.
Your son. The next thing's going to be like, you know what we need to go after? Public holidays. They hate it.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it, Dutton. If he comes out and he says, we're getting rid of Anzac Day, then we know. We know.
I mean, I feel like at this point, it's like, it does feel, it feels like I'm going to introduce another prohibition, no alcohol anymore in Australia.
Yeah.
What do we think?
Guys, no
Vote
football.
one.
The
Yeah.
AFL now, it's not happening. I'm coming out. I'm cancelling sport in Australia. That's going to win him over.
It
It is actually wild what's happening to that campaign.
But also, so Jacinta Price also said at the time when Donald Trump has never been more toxic to the international community, including Australia, chose to say make Australia great again, and then claimed that was just she had no idea what she was saying. I can't believe it. Nobody could say make Australia great again and not know what that meant.
connotations?
No.
Absolutely
That
not.
is impossible. She knew exactly what she was doing and she knew how unpopular it was, and now they're trying to walk back and they can't. It's got to be sabotage. Doesn't it? What are they? Could they be that stupid?
That's even scarier than sabotage. I'm sorry.
Well, no, sabotage I support, obviously, because I think there's someone smart in there that wants to gut the place. But if it is just monumental stupidity.
If they're genuinely making those decisions on their own.
I mean, there's something this morning that he went on and was making all these claims about the Indonesian government that were completely unfounded, and now's got a big slap down from Penny Wong. So, I mean,
You don't want to slap down from Penny
I
Wong.
don't know that there's anyone at the wheel, or if there is someone at the wheel, they are trying to crash that car.
It's amazing. Look, I know a lot of people have been at me, and we'd really love to hear from you on the election and why aren't you speaking about it? And I guess I'm speaking about it in my own way and in a way that I can manage, in that I'm platforming the voices of people who are speaking about it, who I agree with. I'm putting forward a lot of the Green candidates and their platforms and their viewpoints, and I'm sharing media from other creators who are pretty much dedicating their entire feeds to this stuff. Because I don't know if you're aware of what happens to women when they do speak publicly about their political affiliations, and
They're celebrated. It goes down really well.
definitely.
People love a forthright
What
opinion.
a wonderful world.
Yeah, I'm in perimenopause. Oh yeah, Katy Perry got rid of that. I mean, I could pretty much just say right now, I could just. We got Anthony Albanese on right now, and I'll just be universally
People would
praised.
love
I'll be praised.
that.
I'll be praised. I'll be like, oh my God, it is a woman's
You
world.
would get praise from the left,
Yeah,
praise
from
from
the
the
right,
right.
from the
It'd be
Greens.
beautiful. The centrists would support you.
Imagine.
They'd hoist you up.
I could put, it'll be absolutely incredible. I can see it happening. Thanks, Katy. No, I choose not to put myself in that type of line of fire because I am perimenopausal and quite frankly, I don't have the mental health to deal with the backlash. Yes, that is obviously a privileged stance, but I am not ignoring the fact that there's an election. I've very publicly stated I will not be voting for Peter Dutton. I'm happy to say I'll be voting for the Greens because I desperately want them to form a minority government with Labor, with Teals. I want the three of them to work together, hold hands, kumbaya. I want better healthcare. I want the environment to be okay. I want there to be affordable housing. I want all the things, I feel like pretty reasonable things. So that's what I'm going to be doing because I know a lot of people are unsure. And all I can say to you is just don't vote for Dutton. Like fucking...
Well, at this point, I think the most potent thing anyone can do to achieve that result is just to occasionally glance at what Dutton's doing because it is amazing. He came into this election, like Albanese was in a weak situation, really. And my goodness gracious me, he is not a person who has flourished in the spotlight. Let's put it that way. It doesn't look like he's seen a lot of light recently for someone who lives in Queensland.
I know. The leaders' debate is tonight as we record. I am tipping an absolute, it's going to be bad. It's not going to be good.
I don't think anyone's going to be tuning into that wanting charisma, wit and incisive policy discussion.
And neither of them are great public speakers.
No.
I would say Albo has the edge.
Yes.
It's essentially like propping up two face washers. One's warm, one's cold. And that's kind of the impact it's going to have.
Sometimes I enjoy a cold face washer though. So, I mean, that's the only difference there. There's two face washers. One has just been used exclusively in the shower and the other one someone's grabbed and cleaned down some benches with. Should have inspected it more before they used it for this purpose.
Too far? Maybe not. So, look, we'll talk a little bit more about it leading up, but I just feel like there's no surprise we are a very left-leaning podcast. I don't think people are going to be like, what?
No.
Anyway, what the fuck is next with Dutton's campaign? We wait.
I legitimately can't wait to find out. I mean, at this point, I'm staggered. I mean, look, touch wood because
I hope Harry gets one of the 14 houses.
Oh, he's hoping
I
he's okay.
do worry for Harry.
Yeah, what will his inheritance be?
Well, I mean, who knows? With the state of affairs, gosh,
Is he still living at home? Because if he's living at home, of course, he'll get Kirribilli because we know that
Dutton wants harbour views. He will not be, and he will not be living in Canberra. No. Because he can't see the harbour.
Yeah.
That's a very relatable request.
No, he doesn't want to be near the office.
Ew. I don't want to look at trees and landscapes. I don't want to be...
It gets a bit cold.
Oh.
He did say that. Those Canberra winters.
Are you joking?
No, I'm not.
Oh, my God.
He was speaking to Kyle and Jackie O. I think he was trying to play to the Sydney audience and hadn't quite
Did
deduced.
he forget that they're national?
No, I think so.
No. He said he...
That's another explanation. Somehow he doesn't realise that everything he says is going to be noticed. Maybe he's in that zone.
Did he really say...
Someone needs to say, hey, Peter, the thing about an election campaign is when you say something, it gets reported.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Well, good luck, Peter.
And that we were not sincere about that. We don't wish him luck.
Absolutely not. Now we have 10 minutes until Gaga goes on sale. We will now speak about Gaga.
I just want to say our second attempt to get Gaga. We've had one failed attempt. We're trying again.
That is correct. And when we head to the sealed section where we will be discussing a conundrum, and Em Salater posted upon the Facebook group page where she talked about how she got into a fight with her friend over the friend accusing her husband of weaponized incompetence. It's a very interesting scenario. She's going away. She's done a lot of batch cooking and her friend came over and said, why are you cooking? The man can cook. He's weaponizing incompetence. Yeah. They got into a fight about it. Then the Facebook group kind of weighed in and I found it really interesting. So we're going to talk about that in the sealed section and we're going to be talking about if we got Gaga tickets pretty much. Yeah. So speaking of Gaga, obviously, I'll cleanse Dutton away. Gaga... headlining Coachella, obviously, weekend one has occurred. And it was a masterclass in self-referential, mastery. It was so good. It was like an in-depth psychological study into her relationship with fame, gothic opera.
Yes. It was Lady Gaga, the gothic psychosexual opera.
But also plumbing and mining and exploring earlier iterations of herself and kind of almost nodding to the flaws in it and showing the evolution, but paying homage to and all of us who love Gaga, like, oh my God, that's from the Paparazzi film clip. Oh my God, like the Easter eggs. Taylor Swift could never. I mean, she could, and she does. So let's start with the sheer. We were texting each other, and this woman did not stop.
No.
Well,
she had some long changes.
But she was puffing because we would hear it in the microphone.
We do have a note. We have one note, not for her, but for a sound team.
Sound team.
Fade down.
Fire them. I'll send Zeke in. Zeke would never. Do not.
What we're
I don't wanna
talking
hear an
about is
asthma attack.
when she went off for costume changes or between songs, they still had her vocal mic at full blare, so you
tilt.
could hear her gasping for air.
turn her channel
and
down.
it had been like a 38-degree day
100%.
in Coachella at that time.
Yes.
So she was hot as hell and was obviously gulping water and eating it. And we could hear every bit of it. Early on, I'm a bit like, I like hearing the work. I like hearing it. But then at a certain point, I'm like, I don't think this is what she wants.
She doesn't want it.
No.
And it was distracting as well. So let's talk about the opening stages were her in the Gothic opera in the big red, incredible ball gown. She had everything. The hands were a big reference. The terrifying kind of turnip hands.
Yes.
She even had them as collars.
Yes.
She wore them as hands. Her crown, everything had that kind of long, weird, kind of gnarly, athletic carrot hook.
Monster. She's the queen of the monsters.
I love it.
Mother of the monsters.
So we open with abracadabra. Applause.
No. Abracadabra.
I'm going to doubt myself.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Abracadabra.
Yeah.
Which,
if only she sang Applause, a long forgotten Gaga
love
classic.
Applause.
I know, never brings it out these days. I don't think she was having a good time when she made art pop.
all the songs. By the way, her strongest album. I fucking love art pop.
I like it too, and it's sadly neglected in this day and age.
I mean-
I know R. Kelly was not a wise addition, but she re-recorded it with
Katy
Christina.
Perry's fixed that. Fixed
Oh,
that.
great.
Katy
Yeah,
Perry's
yeah,
fixed that.
great.
It's fine. Don't even worry about R. Kelly. Katy Perry, done.
I also like Chromatica. Also discarded.
Love Chromatica. Rain
Yeah.
on Me, the Jizz filter.
Stupid Love.
So good.
We did hear that in the jazz concert in Vegas. Thank God.
I agree, but we didn't get any of that. But that's okay. So we open with Abracadabra,
Yeah.
and she comes down. She comes out of the skirt. She's got incredible. It was just such a spectacle. Every single minute detail thought about. It's the thing I love about Gaga is her commitment to the details of the theme. When
That's
that
right.
bitch picks a theme,
Yeah.
it becomes her personality, her DNA, her purpose for living.
There was some sort of red witch, white queen thing going on, which of course eventually manifested itself into a chessboard as she sang Poker Face.
Oh, the chessboard. It was the chessboard was two homages, obviously to the Poker Face film clip, but also to Alexander McQueen, who had a chessboard. She wore a lot of McQueen-inspired gear because he was instrumental in her monster era.
Yes.
So it was just, there was so many little things that if you're a fashion fan and
Yes.
a Gaga fan, it was like the Venn diagram of, it was like orgasmic.
It's always dense and complex. And there's a part of me that thinks singing about poker on a chessboard is not dissimilar to standing on a Monopoly board singing your song Yahtzee. But it was a spectacle.
Wow. Good job. You got there. I wasn't sure, but you got there, and I'm proud of you.
Well, so did she. Inspired by her. No matter how much she bites off, she chews.
She chews.
Fucking chews. Even if she has to hurl in breath in between the chews, she gets there.
Thought she was going to
She gets
literally
there.
have an asthma attack at some stages. So we got the armor and crutches, obviously a reference
Amazing.
to the Mugler
Paparazzi.
outfit from Paparazzi. That moment was hysterical
Yeah.
because there were some little, it's a live event. So the woman who'd been dressed in all red lace suddenly had to dig herself out of the sandpit, and she was in charge of making so Gaga's bedsheet cape that was 80 meters long was flying, but she also couldn't be seen, but she was in red lace under a white bit of material. So you can just see the red lady like flapping like a parachute at the end of gym class, or when you're in prep and they're trying to shut you up and get you to have a nap, you get the parachute out.
Oh, yeah.
So the woman who'd been buried in the sand in the scarlet lace was suddenly flapping her.
Amazing.
It was like
Sand. The sand was incredible. I mean, to me, it looked like kitty litter, but I was down for that. There's a bit where it was suddenly revealed her in a magnificent but cheap-looking blonde wig with a whole lot of
The blonde that
skeletons
killed me.
resting in kitty litter.
That was a shake and go. Wasn't even a lace front. It was a synthetic bullshit, and it's not her fault. It's not her fault. But I'm telling you right now, you mark my words, there will be human units, inches on her head this weekend. When she sees the visual of how bad that wig looked,
Do you think?
We'll have a new wig.
See, we are obviously, so of course they do another performance this weekend.
Oh yeah.
Beyonce, of course, just performed everything the same except she changed the colour of the jerseys everyone was wearing.
No.
We're desperate to see what
She's
little
in
tweaks
everything.
Gaga
There'll be so
has
many
made.
tweaks. I can't wait. She was sat down with notes.
Yeah.
Straight after.
Easter Saturday for us.
So the terrifying sound that you speak of obviously was a throwback to Bad Romance.
Which, of course, she sang as the finale.
She did, thank God. And there was a lot of choreography of the skeletons,
Oh, yes.
which somebody said I saw a great meme that said which teacher would have dragged the skeleton out in class? She's walking around.
Oh, yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that I always
yeah.
roll it out?
Yeah.
So that was amazing. The chessboard dance battle was incredible. She, of course, for All Little Monsters, the Savannah corset boots that she has rolled out so many times. She had them on the Monsters Ball, the boots. She loves them. They're her go-to. My favourite detail is the most Gaga detail. You can put lots of time.
2 minutes.
Okay. Hold. We'll be back. We've got to go get Gaga tickets. Okay, go. Do you want my computer? Do you need a
I've got mine. Let me.
Okay, go get it. Go. Do you want mine? Go get your computer.
But you should jump on too.
20 minutes later.
23,000 people in front of the queue. Let's just wrap up the episode. Okay, we're going to wrap up the episode because we want to keep going into Sealed with the buying of our Gaga tickets. What I wanted to say, the most Gaga thing was during The Beast where she sang the lyric 11:59 at 11:59.
Yeah, so that was right.
How?
Yeah.
How did she, all that running and puffing and timing, who was in her ear going, okay, 11:56,
Yeah.
hold. That's what I loved.
Here's my one question though. With a lot of her staple hits, she was happy to let them go for this one. But it does feel like one song she always feels that she must sing, her The Way We Were, if you will,
right.
was Shallow.
Shallow.
And I feel like, as a fan, I want to say to her, obviously massive hit. It is the biggest hit she's ever had. I accept that. It doesn't really fit the theme of this whole thing. I'm just happy. Gaga.
Let it go, honey.
Yeah, it's fine.
I agree.
You've sung it a lot.
Yeah, I didn't need that. I didn't need that at all. Look,
Or I would say do a dedicated set at the piano for quite a bit and get Million Reasons in there.
True.
I prefer that one.
Okay, we're going to keep discussing Gaga-Chella in the Sealed section. We're also going to keep trying to buy our tickets. We have to wrap up the main ep now because we need to focus on getting the tickets. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be a part of Sealed section, you need to be an Emsolation Extra subscriber. You can do that. How, Ben?
Go to emsolation.supercast.com.
That's where you need to be. That's where all the good stuff is happening. We're going to put in a little amuse-bouche of my walk and talks that have been happening. I've been just going on my walks with the dogs and recording myself and letting you all into the verbal dump. And it's been, I don't know.
Excellent.
Well, people have been enjoying it. Thank you so much for being here. Sealed section is next. Where are we? What number in the queue?
23,200.
Okay, we've got 2 computers going. All right, gang, bye.
Extra.
It's Emsolation Extra.
Hey Emsolators, every Tuesday on our premium service Emsolation Extra, Em answers your questions in our Ask Em Anything episodes. Here's a sample of what you're missing out on.
Welcome to another edition of Emsolation Extra Walk and Talk. Look, I don't want to burn you on this idea, but I am doing a second one in a row because I'm working from home again in an attempt to get the last 2 chapters of my book written. That's right. I sat down last week like a woman possessed and pumped out many tens of thousands of words. I'm trying a new technique with the record this week. So hopefully the sound quality is a little bit better, but you should see me. I've got a lapel mic strapped to my Kathmandu with my iPhone hanging jauntily out of the top pocket. I hope this works. So how are you? I, as I said, have been head down writing. Now I do go to the local library usually, but there's 2 chairs that I like. There's only 2 of these very special chairs that they have that I like to sit in and write because they're their own little privacy pods, basically. And I looked into buying one, and they're like $1,600 each, up to 2.5 for one chair. I'm like, okay, Eltham Library, big dog rolling in the cash, because I really would love one for home because I found it so easy to write in. But now I have this anxiety that if I don't get to the library early enough, I won't get the chair. And if I don't get the chair, I feel like my day's writing is ruined. I know, how autistic of me. So I'm in a bit of a pickle with the chair. So as I'm driving up to the library, I start getting scared. So it's become a whole thing. So I thought I'll write from home today because I don't want to go through the chair anxiety. But if any of you, I don't know, what am I trying to say here? Furniture builders, upholsterers, designers. I feel like I could probably get one made for less than that, surely. That just seems a lot of money for a chair. And all I want is the high sides. Don't think I didn't look into trying to make one myself, but I think it is beyond my capabilities. Oh, there's a plane. Good morning. I am also at home because one of my children is experiencing an exquisite heartbreak, and it's horrible, and I haven't been through this with her before, and I'm not going to say anything else because it's her business, but it's a different level of parenting, is it, when your kids get to a certain age and they can have, you know, that kind of heartbreak. And there's absolutely nothing I can do to ease it except be there. So I'm just haunting her like a shadow. We're never more than a couple meters away from each other. I just said to her,
To hear the rest and get access to all the others, including full video episodes and our main weekly and sealed section episodes, and a stack of other perks, just head to emsolation.supercast.com now. Emsolation with M. Rossiano is recorded at Down the Hill Studios. Hosted by M. Rossiano with Michael Lucas. Executive produced by Benjamin Wasley, produced by M. Rossiano. Edited by Ezekiel Fenn with videos by James Henderson. Socials by Benjamin Wasley, M. Rossiano and Marcella Rossiano Barrow with assistance from Jem Evans and Isabella Hines. You'll find links to get more Emsolation on Instagram at Emsolation Podcast. And thanks for listening. We can't wait to chat with you again soon.